bigger. I, for years and years and years and years, have taken my prescription in directly to the surgery and said, "Hello, girls," because actually the receptionists at my surgery are pretty damn good too. "Hello, girls. Here's my prescription. Can you get it filled? It'll take 3 days, Keith." Yes, I know, I'm a naughty boy, aren't I? If you could hurry it along. And sure enough, they hurried it along, so it was 2 days. And I was always privileged. But we'd been urged to use the internet. Here it is, it's the most marvellous, wonderful thing. So, yesterday, I needed to redo, or whatever it is, get the prescriptions again. Anyway, so what did I do? I'd use the internet. Well, I went on to logged in. What's your username and what's your password? Well, I couldn't remember. I can never remember passwords, so I took a guess. No, it's wrong. And if you get it wrong 2 more times, we're going to send you to hell and the doctor won't come with you. Oh, dear. So I thought, I'm not going to take the chance. Got it wrong. So I went down, I scrolled down to the contact us and found an email address. So I said, "Please renew my prescription." And the email took it. This morning I get into my email box. This email is no longer in use, and if you want to do prescriptions, this is where you go. An undescribable name. A name that I don't recognize. I have had a wonderful, wonderful time. Now, that's the wrong thing to say, wonderful one time, but it has been a supreme pleasure to go into my local surgery because they've always been so friendly, so nice. I've had terrific practitioners in the doctor, in the medical staff. And what am I doing now? You guessed it. I'm talking to a bloody computer. And I'm fed up of talking to computers. Everybody has got computers now, and they're out of control. And every time I talk to people now, where I manage to get through, whether it's to a bank, or whether it's to a credit card company, or a supplier, or whatever, I'm always talking to a bloody computer. And the computer just tells me what it tells everybody else. And I am sick and tired of it. If there's anything that perhaps the virus will do, post-virus, is it will make us see the importance of human relationships, that which is in the main being denied to us at the moment. Because this is just damn silly. And computers, of course, I couldn't be talking to you now if it wasn't for a computer. I'm talking to you through a computer. This form of communication has just gone beyond anybody's imagination because of computers. But the fact of the matter is, if man does not control the computer will control man. And the financial institutions particularly, but now the medical institutions and all government institutions, all are relying upon a computer to do the dirty work. Not quite. You owe your bank a few bob that you hadn't talked to them about. You soon get a call then. But that's the only time. The rest of the time you're talking to a damn computer. And it is upsetting, to say the least. Really upsetting. And I think that we just have to realize that this is an area that has to be changed, because mankind is going to start to throttle each other if we don't get back to proper human relationships, start talking to one another. I must say that I have divided things into 3. There's the government. No, I take it back. There is the political class that do a hell of a lot of shouting and yapping and so on. and they can make black sound white and red sound grey and so on. That's what they're good for. Then there is the autocracy. Is that the right word? Yes, I suppose they are autocrats. Oh, and I'm going to actually block you out for a minute because there's this. Okay, we pause for the street cleaner. Yes, then there is the people who are the pen pushers, the civil servants, and with one exception, in this part of the world, because I've discovered a delightful lady who takes her job very seriously. She's head of the finance department in the local, which is even more surprising, in the local council, and she is superb. And when she gets her teeth into something and believes in something, she goes to bat, whether it's her department or not. I wish there were more like her. Couple, not many. And they only go by a form. If the form says you do this, you do this. If the form says to them, go out and jump off a cliff, they go and jump off a cliff. If the form says, push somebody else off a cliff, they push somebody else off a cliff. They have no thoughts of their own. And I was despairing, and I was actually beginning to blame the whole of the human race. It had all gone squirrely. Well, you know, there are a lot of ordinary people, or others that aren't in those two classes, who are daft, who are mad, who piled into the pubs when they shouldn't have, who hugged and kissed when they shouldn't have, who protested in the parks when they shouldn't have. Well, those are as daft as the other two groups that I've mentioned. But generally speaking, what I have discovered as a result of lockdown is once lockup came, that there are a hell of a lot of nice people in Britain. And the cynics have been yelling and screaming, what is British? Well, I'll tell you. I can remember the day when we were all kind to one another. I can remember the day when we talked to one another. That people actually looked after their neighbour. I can remember those days when you could wander as a child on the streets without fear of being lifted. I can remember when you didn't have to lock your door. Well, all that has disappeared. But the British character that lived that sort of life is not dead. So when somebody makes a call to let's be British again, I'm not talking about ethnicity. I'm talking about a spirit, about a concept. And those people who call for it are dead right. I'm not talking about waving the flag, booting somebody, being jingoistic. I'm talking about the milk, if you like, of human kindness. Let's get back to it. Let us get back to it, because that was the British character. I'm not saying that those things didn't exist elsewhere. But generally speaking, yes, of course there were naughty people behind the scenes. But generally speaking, you know, play up and play the game and all that sort of stuff. Dear old Rudyard Kipling. Great words while he was spying for us in India. I work for Reuters, and which is known as a spy agency. And when it was on Fleet Street, well, it's still got a little toehold on Fleet Street. Why would anybody want to leave the famous street like Fleet Street? But there were 4 photographs on one floor. One was of Rudyard Kipling. One was of Edgar Wallace. One was of the James Bond author Ian Fleming. And the other was one of the Francis writers. All 4 had in common that they were journalists. All 4 worked for Reuters. All 4 were novelists, and all 4 were spies. They wrote of what they knew. It always amused me, that. Always amused me. The photographs were grouped together. Famous people, famous spies. Anyway, we're 24 minutes in. I better play another piece of music because I'm really ranting this morning, but I'm not very happy, man. Not very happy at all. There's something here that's called Let me see. All and Sundry. Let's see what All and Sundry is about. It's by Jesse Gallagher. Jesse Gallagher. That's great stuff, and we're very pleased that you allow us to play that. It's 27 minutes and 44 seconds into our slot. The time is 7:01. We were late this morning, and we got the day wrong. It's not Friday at all. So I very happily will back down and say that it's Thursday. And then probably by the time I get off the air, I'll find that it's Friday after all. Never mind. We're coming to the end of a little slot. A slot that hasn't been the happiest that I've broadcast. I'm really not at all happy about the NHS. Bigger isn't better. And we had several really fine surgeries in Lewes that people would gather in the pub and talk about them. I go to this surgery, yeah, they're wonderful. I go to that surgery, yes. And there was a real affection for those surgeries. Now they're going to be on great amorphous mass eventually, and they've already started to do it. So the computer is talking to me, and with a name, a website or an email address or whatever you want to call it, that I don't recognise, that is one of these nonsensical things that you'll never remember. And they've lost my confidence. So don't ask me to bang for the NHS. Yes, I will bang, as long as it's for the nurses and the doctors and the practitioners and the care workers, but not for the bureaucracy that is going to make it 10 times worse. Oh, that's enough, isn't it? What should we go out with this morning? No, we better stick with our usual song, because it's one of those little. There we go, Ben Sound, buddy. Thank you, Ben Sound. This is Keith Hayes with Rouser Radio, broadcasting from Lewes in the south of England. A very good morning to you, and I hope that it is Thursday. I'll see you Friday, and in the meantime, let's hope that the world turns a little happier than it did when I woke up this morning.